Hey, Pretty Girl Club. So today I want to answer the question, why do people hate pretty and confident women who quote unquote don't need a man? Or the types of women who they have pretty privilege, they know they have pretty privilege, and they want to spend their time and energy focusing on getting their bags or expanding their career or just having fun and exploring the world on their own terms. I've noticed that a lot of people don't like Lori Harvey. Well, a lot of men don't like Lori Harvey because, once again, Lori Harvey is not fitting into their fantasy of you need to be the pretty girl that wants to be my wife and submit to me and like revolve your whole life around my dust, and that's it, and you need to give up your career. And I always see a lot of people talking trash about Lori Harvey whenever she breaks up with yet another guy and, just kind of drops him and moves on. And I've noticed there's a tendency where a lot of men, let's say a pretty woman is in a relationship and then she breaks up with the guy, a lot of men will automatically blame that woman. Like if you're a pretty woman and you break up with a guy, it's automatically your fault. You're automatically a thought. This is what they did with Tia Mori. This is what they did with Lori Harvey. Like it doesn't matter who the woman is. If you are attractive and you dump a guy, it has to be for a reason that is unacceptable. Have you ever noticed that from a lot of men's perspectives, as long as the guy is not beating you or actively cheating on you, you are not allowed to break up with him. You're not allowed to dump him. You are forced to be with him for the rest of your life. And so I've noticed that whenever Lori Harvey goes through a breakup, a lot of people are like, oh, she's for the streets. Oh, she's such a hoe. She's a thought. Meanwhile, those same guys that are making those talking points are probably deleting their internet history right now because they were just seeking out women who were for the streets. But I've noticed that anytime a woman is pretty and she uses dark femininity to her advantage, meaning she knows she's pretty, she acts like, she acts like she's the shit because she knows that she is. She flaunts her beauty. She uses her beauty to get what she wants, whether that's brand deals or dating wealthy men or whatever. She's automatically a villain. And I've noticed that a lot of women will also project their insecurities onto pretty, confident, carefree women as well. And I think it's because deep down inside, some women who feel like they are not desirable, they secretly want to be a Lori Harvey type. They want to be a Lala Anthony. They want to be someone who gets to even have access to dating whoever she wants, getting her bags however she wants. I've seen so many comments on YouTube on Black women empowerment channels where the girls are like, oh, if only I was a few shades lighter, I'd be doing the same thing as Brittany Renner. Oh, only if only I was mixed, I would be doing the same thing as Lori Harvey. I'd be doing the same thing as these women. Oh, I would be all over those NBA players. I would get my bags that way. I wouldn't work a job either. Okay, so you're admitting that you would be using the same tactics. I've even heard some men say that if they were an attractive woman, they would use their beauty to their advantage and to get what they want and to kind of live life on easy mode. Because let's be honest, if you have pretty privilege, and basically the more privileges you have and the more privileges you can stack, you are living your life on easy mode. And when I say living your life on easy mode, I'm not saying that everything in your life is perfect because no one's life is perfect. But let's talk about some of the privileges Lori Harvey has. So she has pretty privilege, she has wealth privilege, she has entrepreneurial privilege. She also has creativity privilege. Like if you look at some of her posts online, like on Instagram and stuff like that, she actually is quite creative with like her fashion posts and, the way she does her different hairstyles. She likes to stand out. She has a lot of social privilege as well. She likes to hang out with other women who are kind of leveling up. She likes to stay around guys who are kind of higher status, celebrity men or athletes or whatever. So she's already stacking her privileges. She has more of a mixed race or fluid identity, so she uses her ambiguity to her advantage. But I noticed she kind of likes to stay with her signature look, which is kind of the shorter black hair with, just kind of natural soft glam makeup or whatever. So I wouldn't say that she's using her ambiguity to its fullest advantage like someone like Rihanna would be doing. Because if you look at her compared to Rihanna, they have the same phenotype, but Rihanna does a lot more changing of her hair color and changing of her makeup and stuff like that. So I've noticed Lori's beauty strategy is she likes to stick with her signature look, similar to Beyonce. Notice how Beyonce always keeps that honey blonde hairstyle. She likes to keep that as her signature look. But Lori is privilege stacking. And I've noticed that a lot of people, they get mad at pretty women who are confident and stuff because they feel like that's not fair. You're stacking too many privileges. I can't compete with that. I can't compete with someone who is pretty and smart and educated and they know how to network and they know how to do things to promote their own brand. Like, I can't compete with that. And so now I'm going to get mad and I'm going to say that you're for the streets, and I'm going to get mad and I'm going to assume that you're automatically a hoe and you only got to where you are because you slept with people. No. This is just an example of a girl who is using dark femininity to her advantage. She's someone who knows how to privilege stack. She's someone who moves very strategically. And I think that a lot of other women should learn how to privilege stack, and you should learn how to use dark femininity to your advantage because that way you won't be so codependent on a man. By the way, if you haven't already, don't forget to get my dark femininity masterclass. Are you tired of self-doubt, low self-esteem, and that nagging feeling that you're not living up to your true potential? Do you want to break free from the limitations that have been holding you back and start living your life filled with confidence and self-assurance? Look no further. The Dark Femininity Masterclass is here to help you achieve just that. In this 4-week course, you will learn what dark femininity is, why you need it, how to use dark femininity to build your self-esteem, how to heal childhood wounds and traumas, and find healing and transformation, how to use dark femininity in social settings, and how to use it in sex and dating. My Dark Femininity Masterclass is designed to empower you with practical techniques and insights that will help you transform your self-image and self-worth. I'll have that linked in the description if you're interested, but I think that part of the reason why some people don't like women like Lori Harvey or Tia Mowry is because both of those women are examples of women who ultimately they're not financially codependent on a man. So it's easier for them to break up with a man. It's easier for them to get a divorce because they have their own money already, they have their own careers already, and they have pretty privilege. So they know that they're already desirable. So they're not worried about, oh, nobody else will want me. You know, I'm going to be all alone. I'm going to die alone or whatever. I've noticed that a lot of men have such a deep-rooted fear of dying alone because, like I said in previous episodes on this channel, men are not validated the same way that women are in society. Men are not socialized the same way that women are. Men don't get a lot of snuggling and touching and compliments and stuff like how women do. So most men are validation starved. I do believe that most men are quote unquote incels. How many men do you know who are single and not interested in a relationship who constantly have women catcalling them, approaching them in coffee shops, approaching them when they go to the park, you know, trying to text their phone, hitting them up in their DMs? How many men do you know who are like that? Probably none. But how many women do you know who are constantly being catcalled and having guys all in their DMs, guys hitting on them at work, trying to ask them on dates, bosses offering them promotions if they'll go out with them? So women get treated differently in this society than men do. I absolutely do believe in the concept of female privilege when it comes to dating, sex, and relationships. I actually believe that men want relationships and men want sex and men want companionship more than women due to what I just said about how a lot of men are not socialized the same way. They're lacking in validation. A lot of men are touch starved. A lot of men are involuntarily celibate or whatever. So sex seems to mean a lot to men because of the whole touch starvation thing. Because if you're touch starved, you're going to be more obsessed with sex. And if you're not getting any sex or whatever, or nobody wants you, then you're going to be more obsessed with like who Lori Harvey is sleeping with, and oh, she's for the streets, and she's effing this other guy, and who she's sleeping with, and who is she talking to right now? Oh my God, who is Tia Mowry talking to right now? So guys who are like not getting any play, for lack of better words, guys who have to spend their time, energy, and money constantly soliciting sex workers while pretending like they don't do it. Those types of guys, they tend to be more obsessed with like who the pretty girls are sleeping with, who we're talking to, and the strategies that we use to get what we want. And I just feel like for a lot of men, they would be so much better off if they just spent all of that time and energy on actually building something for themselves. Because if you look at someone like Lori Harvey, she is not an idiot. She is actually building a platform. You know, she has millions of followers on social media. So she actually is a builder. A lot of these guys, they don't realize that they are attracted to women who are builders. It doesn't even matter if she's a sex worker or if she's whatever. No, a lot of guys spend their time, energy, money, and attention focusing on women who are beautiful and high status. The fact that people are even making videos about Lori Harvey, the fact that people will even care who she's sleeping with, the fact that people are even looking at her, that shows that she is high status. So all of this BS about how, oh, if you're not a wife, then basically you're trash, or if you're not a mother, or if you're not like some church girl nun, then suddenly you're like trash. No, that's such BS, because I've noticed that a lot of men, they will talk crap about modern women or whatever, but then at the same time, those men bestow status and social privilege onto women who are independent, women who don't need no man, like Lori Harvey, because she can easily drop a guy and get another one because she's highly desirable. And why is she highly desirable? Not just based on looks, but based on all of the privileges she has stacked. She's an entrepreneur. If I'm not mistaken, I think she has like a skincare line or something as well. So she has all of these things going for herself that makes her even more attractive than average, because despite popular belief, there are men who are also attracted to a woman who is beautiful, ambitious, she's smart, she's business oriented. You can't lie to me and say that those are not attractive qualities. And Lori Harvey has those qualities. But the bad thing for men when it comes to seeking after us MLS women who are business minded and stuff is that because we are business minded and because we are naturally building our own privileges and privilege stacking and getting our own bags, it makes us less codependent on a guy, because we're like, hey, wait a minute, I'm Tia Mowry. Wait a minute, I'm Lori Harvey. Like, I can still leave you, and like, I'm not going to be homeless. I'm not going to be broke. I'm not going to be destitute. I still have pretty privilege. I've got millions of followers, like on social media, guys in my DMs all the time, brand deals, modeling for Dolce and Gabbana. So that's the negative side that a lot of men don't realize, is that when you are seeking after these sex workers or these influencers or these women who are ambitious, even if she's not famous, let's say she's just pretty and classy and she has a fluid identity and she's articulate, those qualities alone, those are all privileges. So the more privileged a woman is, the more she actually doesn't have to depend on kind of latching onto a man's privileges in order to have a sense of self-esteem. And I think that a lot of men are threatened by that. And I think a lot of women, I think men and women can get jealous of that. Because like I said, on these Black women empowerment channels, I've seen so many women saying, oh, well, you know, she's getting that exotical tax, or if I look like her, I would do the same thing. But then those same women will turn around and hate on you and be like, oh, she's not that pretty. Oh, she's mediocre. Her hair is stringy and it looks like ramen noodles. And it's like those same women that are talking shit about you increasing your status, those women are attempting to increase their statuses and privilege by acquiring your hair texture and wearing it on their heads, or doing their makeup in a certain way, or contouring their noses into oblivion so that they look more like you. Everybody in this world is seeking after beauty. Everybody in this world is seeking after some sort of privilege. If you try to argue with me, you are lying. Everybody is pursuing different types of privilege, whether you want intellectual privilege, meaning you want to be smart, you want to be educated. Maybe you want wealth privilege, you want to be upwardly mobile, you want to increase your socioeconomic status. Maybe you want pretty privilege, so you're doing your makeup, doing your hair, whatever. Everybody is seeking after some sort of privilege. Everybody is seeking after beauty. People need to be honest and understand psychology and sociology. This is the world that we live in, folks. You can either play the game or you can sit on the sidelines and be overlooked. Lori Harvey is not going to be overlooked. One strategy that I've seen some women use is like, okay, let's say you are the high status woman and you date a guy, then you dump him. Have you ever had a friend who will like purposely try to date your ex, or she'll purposely try to like a guy that you previously liked, because she's hoping that by dating a guy that you used to date, because you are higher status than her, that hopefully it will increase her status in the eyes of others. And I've also noticed this thing where a lot of women who are not pretty privileged or whatever, they will try to be the side chick or be the other woman to your boyfriend or husband or whatever, because it makes that woman feel more attractive than you. This is all about social climbing. And obviously that's a bad way to do it, but For a lot of these women, like in their minds, they want to be in your position. They want the Lori Harvey position, or they want the Tia Mowry position. Actually, I saw this dynamic with Keke Palmer where she was like thirsting, publicly thirsting super hard after Tia Mowry's husband. And it was just really weird. Keke Palmer has always thirsted over MLS guys, but I've noticed this pattern. Like even when I was in college, any guy that I liked or any guy that showed interest in me or that some of my friends thought that I was talking to, I've noticed sometimes girls would instantly try to chase after that guy. That guy would become solid gold in their eyes. And I've noticed that for a lot of men, this is a part of why they pursue us pretty women or pretty privileged women. It's because they know, oh, if I can get her, I can get any woman. If I can be seen in public with XYZ Exotical, then I know that I will attract other women to me because it's going to make me look like I must be a high status guy if I can get her. I've noticed that a lot of guys, they will date you specifically so that they can use you as almost like this trophy in order to attract other women. Because then other women who are jealous of you, they will start to think, well, hey, why is she with him? Like, what does he have? Maybe he has money or something. Maybe he has like some sort of status. Let me get to know this guy. He's interesting to me now. Has anyone noticed that? This happened to me in high school. This happened to me in college. I remember there was one guy in college where we were not dating. He was not my boyfriend or anything. We had gone on one date. He took me on one date. And then this dude, he tried to make it look like in front of everybody in the college cafeteria, he tried to make it look like we were boyfriend and girlfriend. He would always come up to me. He even tried to kiss me in the cafeteria. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why are you all over me? And I felt like he was just trying to be seen with me in public because there were other women in the cafeteria. And he knew that because I was quote unquote popular or whatever, that other girls who were there would see him with me and that would increase his status. So I've noticed that a lot of men, they do this too. They clout chase by trying to be seen with a beautiful woman. What is the first thing a guy does as soon as he gets rich? He tries to go and chase after the most beautiful woman he can find. As a matter of fact, broke guys do this as well. They'll try to chase after the most beautiful woman they can find. A lot of guys in general, they won't even tolerate or date an ugly woman or a quote unquote average at best woman or a woman who is below average. But they will expect us women to date a guy who is average or below average financially, average or below average in looks. And this is why I no longer date guys who are not attractive. Because I feel like a lot of guys, they don't cut women any slack. A lot of guys, you can't tell a guy, oh, hey, I know I'm 250 pounds now, but just give me a couple years to get myself together. And then I promise I will be skinny. I'll have a six pack. Everything will be great. No, but then a lot of men, they will tell you, oh, hey, I'm just trying to get on my feet financially right now. I just need a couple of years. Guys will be like, I'm still in grad school right now. I still have to get my PhD, just a few more years, and then I'm going to have all the money you want. Just give me some time. Because that's how I know you truly love me. And if you leave me, you are for the streets. And if you leave me, you are not real and you're fake and you're a bad person. But I just need a couple of years to get myself together. And a lot of women, they will stay with guys for months and years and decades and waste their youth and waste their beauty. Lori Harvey's not having it. She's not wasting her youth. She's not wasting her beauty. She's not wasting her status. She's like, I have too many options to waste my time with these guys. And some people, they say that Lori Harvey, her and Michael B. Jordan broke up because Lori Harvey didn't want to get married to him. First of all, so what? Why is it that the pretty women are required to automatically be somebody's wife? See, this is what I'm talking about. It's because deep down inside, that's your fantasy, is for you to be able to marry a woman like Lori Harvey. That is not reality, though. Not every pretty woman is desperate for marriage or even wants marriage. This is why, like I said, I'm convinced men actually want relationships more than women. They want marriage more than women. They want sex more than women because men have more to gain due to men being so undervalued in society as a whole. And so for a lot of men, they try to find their whole self-esteem and their value in relationships. Doesn't really matter what kind of relationship it is, I've noticed for a man, whether it's a sexual relationship, friends with benefits, roommate, 50-50, marriage, ride or die, sugar mama. A lot of men, because they feel so heavily undervalued as a whole, they're seeking their value when it comes to relationships. They're kind of grasping at straws. They're grasping to have any sort of attention or validation from a woman as they can because they've often been socialized through things like pornography and that's it. And so for a lot of men, the only touch they've ever received is either violent touch from their parents, especially if they have an African American background, or sexual touch, and that's it. And so they equate sex to validation. If you haven't noticed, a lot of underprivileged men tend to also be sex addicts as well, or pornography addicts, because they're chasing after getting that final dopamine release from the sex. They're chasing after the dopamine release from having the validation of a woman who's been validated. But for women, like Lori Harvey as an example, there are so many other avenues of validation she has access to the point where a relationship or a man, that's just another one. And this is the case for a lot of pretty privileged women. We have access to so many other avenues of validation, and not even just with being pretty. Let's take out being pretty for a moment. Lori Harvey has her own business. She has a social media following of women. Like she can be an influencer or a mentor to women. That can bring her a sense of validation, helping others. She seems to like hair and makeup. So that's like one of her hobbies. She can do that. That's a sense of validation. She can go to different events like in Hollywood and stuff and kind of be seen. She likes being a starlet or a socialite. That is a sense of validation. She can do acting and continue to do modeling. She's modeled for Dolce & Gabbana. That is a sense of validation. So she has been in the fashion industry. If you're working with people like from Dolce & Gabbana, you can easily get into the fashion industry maybe as a stylist or doing something else with fashion. That is a form of validation. For a lot of men, they are so undervalued and undervalidated to the point where a lot of men, it's like if you don't have XYZ type of job or if you don't make XYZ type of money, you're starving for validation. So this is why a lot of men obsess over what we are doing in the Pretty Girl Club. They're obsessed over who we're sleeping with and, oh, well, she's for the streets. And then these men will try to shame us. They'll try to shame Tia Mowry into going back into a marriage that she was obviously unhappy in. And this is because those men are unhappy without marriages. They're unhappy without access to a beautiful woman. They're unhappy without access to that validation. But that's a male problem. And I'm not saying that it can't be solved, because I think it can. But the way to solve that problem, if you're a man, is not by shaming women who have more privileges stacked than you do. Anyway, have any of you ladies ever had other women who have less status than you or whatever? Have you ever had them try to chase after your exes or kind of follow what you do, try to copy how you look, try to, kind of almost live your life in a way or be like some cheap rip-off version of you? Have you ever had that happen to you? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.